I believe my voice might be unmuted, but the video needs to be turned on. Namaste. Namaste and greetings to the International Society for the revival of Sanatana Dharma, something very, very close to my heart. I send you my greetings from Norway, where I'm at right now. It's a wonderful summer evening here in Norway. You see the sea just behind me in the Oslo fjord, and I am so grateful to be able to participate in this 10th annual anniversary for the conference, and the extremely important work that is being done and that is being carried through and is about to happen in reviving Sanatana Dharma in the whole world, and specifically in Norway, where I am working from right now. So, as said, my name is Jorgen Lysglimt Johansen. It's quite a mouthful for anyone speaking English outside Norway. I am working in both the spiritual realm and in politics at the same time. And I want to share some insights here from Norway that might give inspiration and some energy and inspiration for the path ahead. The thing in Norway is that in the Nordic countries, we have been Christian now for 1,000 years. And there is still in the Nordic spirit, in the Nordic people, very much an awareness that there was something before this Christianity. We say that we were once Vikings. This is very much in the consciousness of people in Norway. And when we look at the craziness of the world today, everything that's going on, the Kali Yuga that people are feeling, even though they don't necessarily speak of it as the Kali Yuga, they sense the madness and they sense that something needs to be done. And people even say we have to revive the Viking in us. And as we know, the Viking era was the Vedic era, was the time of a different spirituality. And when people in Norway say that we have to revive the Viking spirit in ourselves, I've been asking myself, what does that really mean? What is, if you take that question, if you take that suggestion, if you take that goal seriously, what does that entail to revive and reawaken the Viking spirit? Well, to the adherents of Sanatana Dharma, it will be no surprise for you to hear that the question to that will lead you to Sanatana Dharma as the path, as the goal, to find our way back to who we once were, to find our way back to ourselves. And I'd like to share my personal story here, because that's where it started for me, with a more intuitive feeling. Like most people in Norway have this intuitive feeling that we were once Vikings and the Viking blood is still in us. And I started looking into what did it really mean? What was before Christianity? What did it mean to be a Viking? And some of this literature, as you know, has survived, especially through the Icelandic scribes who did preserve some of the books and some of the sacred texts of the Nordic Vedic spirituality that we have, the Viking spirituality, call it that. And I started looking into that, finding inspiration there. But you pretty soon you realize that what we have preserved is but a fraction of what was once there. There was so much more. I would say, 90% has been lost. Maybe 95, 99% has been lost. We don't really know, but what has been preserved is but a fraction of what was. There was knowledge about everything. There were wise men, there were gods, there were cultural aspects of this. There were all kinds of implications for life, spirituality, society. It was all tied together in a Vedic way, in a Dharmic way, in a different way than what we have today with the insanity that's, partly modernism, partly the Kali Yuga, partly Christendom, but there was something before. And then I asked myself, so this part that we don't have, everything that we don't have, where is that? Is it still somewhere? Can it be found? Can it be revitalized? Can it be put together again so that we can find ourselves? Not at least that I can find myself. I mean, I'm on a quest to find myself. When I realize what we have lost, I also realize that what I have lost my birthright. All Norwegians, all Nordic people have lost their birthright in so much knowledge, so much Dharma that's been lost. And the path to find our way back led me to Prabhupada and the amazing work that Prabhupada did to take the knowledge of Krishna consciousness to the West again, and to find our way there, and a few more steps after that, and we come to the International Sanatana Dharma Society and the wonderful work of Acharya. It's a natural progression. So realizing there what has been lost and realizing that it is there to be found has been an amazing experience for me and a few close-knit friends that we are here in Norway. And this has given us a kind of a mission and a quest and a goal to work on reviving this politically, to work on reviving this spiritually, and to put this all together. And this is our part of the revival of the Sanatana Dharma spirit all over the world. This is our contribution. This is our part of that. And I want to tell you a story. Now, I work in politics, and it's crazy out there. The Kali Yuga has so many crazy aspects. But every time I come to a point where I have like doubts about this, I remember the line in the Bhagavad Gita where Krishna is standing behind Arjuna, and Arjuna is having doubts, and Krishna is telling Arjuna, fight, Arjuna, fight. And I tell myself, whenever I have doubts, I feel Krishna standing behind me, and Krishna is telling me, fight, Hans, fight, Hans. It's that confidence, it's that strength not to give up, not to give in, but to stand up and fight. That is what Sanatana Dharma is to me, and what I communicate to my people in Norway. It is confidence, it is strength, it is knowledge that there is a truth. There is truth. This is what Sanatana Dharma is to me. It is the knowledge that what I know is right and correct is actually right and correct. There is Sanatana Dharma out there. There is a truth that can be revived and is possible to seek and to find. I'm on a quest to learn Sanatana Dharma myself, and to learn about all the aspects, and to read the books, and with the wonderful help of Acharya and other wonderful people. But I know that it's like a light in the darkness, where I know that I'm working towards this Sanatana Dharma, and I'm telling this to other people in Norway, inspiring them. You inspire people by not just by what you say and what you do, but the kind of thrust and the kind of confidence that you show yourself in what you do, in the work that you do. And through my work and through the confidence that I show, because it's a genuine confidence in the struggle, in the work towards the truth, I inspire other people in Norway to do the same. And we are already a movement in Norway around this. It's getting more and more explicit every year, every month. There is momentum building up, and there is absolutely something happening. There is something happening, an awakening in the people. I feel it myself, and our close-knit friends, we feel it. We feel people are coming to us. We feel more and more the ability to show people what this is all about by showing them the literature, by showing them the practices, by being able to show links online to wonderful videos, the video library of Acharya and Prabhupada's speeches that are put online. It's an amazing resource, and it's an amazing time to be alive and to do this work, because it's there. I'm thinking like 30 years ago, 40 years ago, before the internet, it wasn't there. Now everything is just a click away. Sanatana Dharma, the truth, is just a click away. So it's an amazing time to be alive. And you know, in Norway and in Scandinavia, it's so close. Even the language, the nature that we have, ultimately it's in the land and the blood and in who we are. The spirit of the Vedic society, of Dharma, of Sanatana Dharma, is so close. This is not something that you have to like make people become new people and change completely. No, we just need to scratch the surface. Even the words we use, you know, the words for the days of the week: Tuesday, Wednesday. Wedden is Odin, of course. Every time we use the word Wednesday, we have the same word in Norway. We are revoking the old gods. We are revoking the old Vedic society. We are revoking Dharma. We are revoking Sanatana Dharma. So it's much closer than we think. And what I want to say is that working on understanding Sanatana Dharma, understanding that it's there, building that confidence, it's an exponential thing now. It's been exponential for me, and I believe it's possible to have a critical turning point now where people turn to Sanatana Dharma in droves, because people are searching for something. They know intuitively that they've lost so much, and they're searching for something. They're searching for something to give them meaning, to give them direction in life, to give them the kind of spiritual qualities in their life that they need. And that is the way to work to reawaken Sanatana Dharma in the people. You know, Carl Jung, the famous psychologist and philosopher, he said that if you talk to the Germanic people about Odin is the deity that I feel closest to. You talk to the Germanic people about Odin, and the spirit of Odin will be reawoken in them, because it's there. It's the pathway into the spiritual qualities that we all have. This has been denied us by the modern society. The modern society doesn't want us to go down that path. So we have to be brave also to tell people that there is such a path. Because people, you know, they smile and they deny their own spiritual dimensions. And we have to show them that it is possible to find all this meaning, to find all this joy and happiness through the quest for the Vedic society, the Dharma that we once were. And you know, in all the myths and legends of the Germanic people, it is said that the god Odin, Hoge in Denmark, will return and set things straight. And this is what people have been convinced of for thousands of years in our culture. You know, that there have been crises. There was the Black Death, there was the forced Christianity, and now we're in this crazy modern Kali Yuga with the machines and this internet thing with all this dramatic energy, taking people apart, making us strangers for each other. But the legends all say that Odin will return and set things straight. This is also another thing that kind of gives me confidence. Exactly how this will go about, we don't know. But having that confidence that it will happen, and taking that from the legends, reviving the legends as well, and finding the strength in that, that is what it's all about. So for me, Sanatana Dharma is authenticity, it is truth, it is a light, it is the way, and it is also a calling to find people that know Sanatana Dharma, like Acharya, that have that knowledge, and taking on the role that I have as a Kshatriya. It's a different kind of role, being a politician in the world, and communicating this to the people that I meet every day on the street and in different kinds of political situations. It's a calling, because I need to up my game in this, learn it, and communicate it on. So it's like this is a process. It's not all ready and done right away. We are all called to take part and be part of a process that will change ourselves, change our relationship to society, change our relationship to other people, change other people's relationship to each other, and change the entire society through Sanatana Dharma. And you know, it's daunting how big this quest is, but when you know that it's inevitable in a sense, because it's there, it cannot be otherwise. It must be. We must win this. We must save society. We must revive truth. We must come and save the souls of the people. And when you think about it like that, it's not as hard, and the setbacks are not so difficult to shoulder, and to give each other the motivation to continue. That is what is Sanatana Dharma to me, and I believe this is possible to revive in the people, so that everyone starts talking about this. Everyone starts reading the Bhagavad Gita. Everyone starts watching the videos of Acharya. And by the grace of the gods, we can connect to people through this sense of the fact that they were once Vikings. So this is my calling, and my effort to try to give an inspirational piece to the conference today, and I'm so grateful to be part of the conference, and to give my little contribution there. And this is my contribution, this insight that there is a way, a path into the heart of the Nordic people. It's there. Have confidence that it's there, and use it, and find that path, and walk that path into the hearts of the people, to change the people. I think that's what I wanted to say. It goes much faster when you say it when you give the presentation than when you wrote it down. I think there might be some Q&A. Is that correct? I'm open for that. Are you open to do some Q&A, John? Can we do that? Namaste. Thank you very much for that question, Marius. And this is absolutely relevant because every expression of the Sanatana Dharma, I believe, is unique to a geographical location and to the specific people that are there. So that it needs to be a local implementation. And a very obvious example of this is from the literature, the Vedic literature that is preserved in India, where there are examples using elephants and so on. This is, of course, not so relevant in Norway and the Nordic countries, and the expression of Sanatana Dharma that we had here before Christianity was, of course, using different images. Instead of using an elephant, we would have been using a bear or a horse or some other animal or some other allegory to describe the same insight, the same cultural aspect, but just doing it in a different way. And this is has been a core of what I also realize is Sanatana Dharma, is that Sanatana Dharma is like a core of truth, a core of unchangeable truth, unchangeable Dharma, but the expression of this can be different and will, of course, be different over time and in different situations. That's how it must be. And that is quite a bit of the work that we need to do. I would like to see, for example, the Bhagavad Gita not just being translated to Norwegian, that has been done by ISKCON and wonderful, but also a update of the imagery, the wonderful illustrations in the ISKCON, the Prabhupada Bhagavad Gita. I would like to have them Nordicified, if you see what I mean, and maybe also going through the text and using Nordic names in the translation to make it more relevant, because I still believe that even though people in Norway know that the Viking spirit, the Viking spirituality is in their heart, it is still a distance to take them to Sanatana Dharma as it is manifested today in the literature from India. This is work that needs to be done. But being able to tell people already now that we are actually working on the same core, it's the same. When you dig really down to it, it's the same thing that we are talking about. It's just different expressions of it. I think this resonates with people that are fairly conscious already now. But there is work to be done, definitely. I believe the quest that we are on still has a lot of work to be done in manifesting all this in culturally relevant manifestations, in video, in literature, in talks, in presentations. So yes, it needs local adaptation, and there was local adaptation, and that local adaptation needs to be redone. And this is what it's called reconstructionism. There's a Sanatana Dharma from India, as Acharya so well exemplifies, is complete and intact, but the revival of Sanatana Dharma in the Nordic countries need to connect to our specific Nordic history. So there's still work to be done, and that is what we need to do. Everyone listening to this conversation is set in a specific local context. Many people in various countries around the world with local history, local languages, and to introduce this in the right way for their own place and time and circumstance, that is the work that needs to be done. Are there any more questions? Thank you. Yes, I believe the Kali Yuga is probably present everywhere in our time, and it's a challenge. I can tell you that. I believe what I talked about in the presentation about finding strength, inner strength, through a conviction that we are on the right path, and a conviction to be brave, as Krishna says to Arjuna, to fight, and to know that we have the truth, and to know that we're on the right path. I believe for me this has been a hugely important part of how to deal with the evil forces that are on us all the time. This is something that I work hard on showing and expressing, and to try to be on top of the evil forces that are pushing back all the time. Another thing that I use a lot is humor and satire. So this has been for me a way to deflect some of the evil forces that are coming at you, and even reflect them back on the people that are, and the forces that are sending this evil energy, because humor And satire is something that the evil energies have a big problem with tackling. So I am able to sort of be very serious, like I hope I show in this presentation. And I have a different side of me that can be almost more like a stand-up comedian. And my enemies, they don't know what side I take. And when I get attacked, I can turn on a dime and start using comedy and satire back at people. And I've done that very, very successfully to tear down my enemies. And this is something that I continue to do, and I'm very glad that you asked this question, because then I'm also able to tell the people that I think of as my friends and allies like yourselves that I have these two sides to me, so that if you ever see me do the comedy or do the satire or do the showmanship, then please know that this is something I do just to tackle the evil forces, like you said, and also not just to tackle the evil forces, but also to ride the tiger that's the craziness in the world today. You know, the internet and the memes and everything there. A serious conversation and a serious talk can reach a lot of people, but if you can play with things, then it's my experience that you can reach much further, and you can be sort of known, and you can become a meme, you can become something that people know about, and once they know about you, they can find their way to your serious side, and then you can show them more serious stuff. So you can play these two sides. It's like the mask in ancient Greece, you know, that you have this duality with you. So I hope that answered your question. I see there are questions here. You read them, please. Thank you for a very good question that comes up a lot. We try to do politics differently. We do not have a political organization with a political structure open for corruption like most or all the other political parties that I know of. And we don't have a political program. We put candidates on our ballot lists without any kinds of restrictions or any kind of program that they have to adhere to. We tell our candidates to please just continue to be who they are and who they were before they became a candidate on our political parties list. In that way, we find candidates that are truthful, and then we put them on the ballot, and we tell them to just continue to do exactly what they did before, to not, you know, change anything. This has been the way that we try to remain pure. But you know, the whole game of politics is non-pure, so it's very, very difficult to do this. And I will also say that not all the candidates that we have on our lists in Alliansen in Norway are adherents of Sanatana Dharma. So it's not quite, we're not quite there yet. We have some Christian candidates. We have also other kind of more like libertarian kind of candidates. Also candidates that are more concerned about things that are hardly difficult to put in any of these boxes, like animal rights and things like that. We are looking for truthful candidates. We choose our candidates from the two criteria of truthfulness and bravery. That has been the criteria, and it so happens to be that this overlaps very well with Sanatana Dharma. So the candidates that are inclined to that fit very well into it. But the exact manifestation of our political movement is broader than Sanatana Dharma, and I think it has to be that at this specific point of time. And then maybe further on it can be more, we can find more and more candidates that are more stringent in that kind of philosophy. So this has been our path. This is a very, very difficult question, because it is for some people to fight in the open, and there is for some people to fight not in the open. And taking the fight openly has a cost. And this is getting more and more crazy for every day that passes, with pride and with wokeness and all that. Because as soon as you go out in the public and you take a public role, you are confronted with being anti-woke or a hater or whatever, and you run into all these problems right away. So my advice for young people is to not go out open until there is an older person that you trust, that tells you that I think you might have a role to play, being openly active, like making videos and going out preaching and sort of taking a public role. So my advice has been to young people that try to be in an environment that consists of people that you trust, people that you feel are interested in your well-being, and have them give you some kind of feedback as to what kind of abilities and what you should do. This is essentially the ancient tradition of a master and an apprentice, and a master and also a spiritual apprentice. But we don't have that the ability to have that tradition applied directly right away now. So it is for the young person to try to find a couple of mentors, not just one, but a handful, and ask them for advice on what they think that young person should do, and try to get some more than just one person to tell you that and to give you input, and hopefully this will be coherent what they say. If you have more than 1, 2, 3, 4 people that you trust to give you good advice, give you coherent advice on what to do, then that should be more likely to be good advice than just getting it from one person. And then find a way online. You know, everything is online, and a lot of people are using a lot of time and resources to search online for the truth. I think it's a young man's thing, and also women for that part, but especially for a young man, as I can relate to myself a long time ago, being a young man searching for the truth. The truth is out there, but and you can fight for the truth and you can ask about the truth, but I would, as a young person, do it anonymously, with pseudonyms in chat rooms and also on social media and all that. Be a little bit careful, and then once you grow older, 16, 17, 18, 20, 24, whatever, get that feedback from other people. I have taken on a role like this for young people myself. I have a dialogue going with a few dozen young people that I know well and that I'm able to give advice to on what I think they should do. And some of them have gone out to be very interesting new voices in the public debate. And other people I have advised to continue maybe a career and to work on themselves in that direction without getting this pushback from the craziness out there. And maybe what I say to those people that choose that, try to see if you can donate money so that you can finance the people that are actually going out there and taking on the fight, so that we cannot all be public fighters and get that pushback. Some of us has to also be doctors and lawyers and work in the banks and all that. So try to find your role as a young person. Very difficult, but I hope maybe some of what I say can be helpful. Thank you very much. Yes, I try to be present on all social media. So you will find me by my name, Hans-Jorgen Lysglimt Johansen. In Norway, I am also known by, my middle name Lysglimt, almost like a semi-famous public character that is almost a character that goes beyond myself. I've done hundreds of videos, presentations, talks. I became a public face, someone that was known to most of Norway when Donald Trump won the presidency, as I was one of the very, very few people that supported Donald Trump before he won the election. And I rose to public fame as that happened. And my political quest has been built from that, and taken, of course, a specific path for Norway, but I've developed this in various directions on social media by making hundreds of videos, and I'm on TikTok talking to the young people. I'm on all the platforms, and I try to cross-link between all the platforms, because I've been banned also from platforms like Twitter, been banned from, and many other platforms as well. But I try to cross-link all the time, so that if I'm cut off, cancelled from one platform, I still have the other platforms, and then I try to get those people to follow me on the various new platforms that come. I think that's the way to do it, because we will be haunted as we have momentum now and grow and get stronger. We will be haunted. We will be shut down. We will get so many attacks that we have to deal with. I personally find it most giving and most interesting to talk to the young people. So I work on platforms that appeal to the young people, and I try also to be a little bit of a showman towards the young people. So I do some videos. I'm going to do more songs. Christmas songs are coming up, a Christmas album. So just getting out there and being known through those kinds of channels. Please do follow me on those channels. I also do presentations and speeches in English. I actually started doing YouTube way back in 2008 and 2012 as a supporter of Ron Paul, the constitutionalist presidential candidate for the Republican Party, Ron Paul. And I went over to the US and I met Ron Paul and I did an interview with him, and so much happened around that. I later met people like Julian Assange of WikiLeaks and all that. So I did a lot of work in English around that time. But since I got more politically active in Norway specifically, then my production in videos naturally became more Norwegian again. But my goal now is to expand that, to do more English, and this is a good part of that, and to sort of spread the word that and the work that I do into the English world as well. Thank you. Please do. Thank you very much for those comments. Thank you very much for the questions. Thank you very much for being able to give my contribution to the conference and to the Society for Sanatana Dharma. Thank you to the organizers of the conference and all the other participants and all the other speakers. Thank you to John. And of course, thank you to Acharya for all the work you do, the inspiration that you give me in my work, with the work that you do, and the way you, Acharya, think forward into the future for many, many years. You help me lengthen my time perspective to see that this fight will go on for many, many years to come, and to align my work and my vision with your work and your vision and your long-term strategy to introduce Sanatana Dharma. So this is something I very, very much appreciate, and thank you everyone. Namaste.